We're back.
Hi.
Hello. This is another episode of
Serving You.
Hot and horny cameras?
No.
Holla.
I thought we were going to come in levels and harmonize with Serving You, Serving
Well, no,
You,
I want to make sure that the
Serving You.
cameras are hot and horny.
All of the cameras are horny.
Okay, yay. So then we're here for serving you.
Yes. Our handful of listeners can't get enough of it.
Literally handful.
They can't get enough of the handful?
Well, if it's a handful, I guess you can get enough.
I guess you can get enough.
More than a mouthful is wasted, so.
This is true.
Are we still talking about food? What
Yes,
serving
always.
are we talking
Yeah,
about?
of course. We're talking about chocolate cake. More than a handful of chocolate cake.
That's
Great.
not true at all.
No, it's not. Well, it depends on the chocolate cake.
I feel like we're getting sidetracked.
No,
We are.
we
Okay.
would never.
Back on point, gentlemen.
First topic of the day. And first, we do one topic an episode. Why would I say first?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Tripping
Topic of the day.
is, I always love this question from customers when they stop me and say, excuse me, but do you get to keep all of your tips? This is a
Oh.
common question by the general public.
Are we
especially
talking about tipping out the house?
Yes, we are. Because I feel like the general public doesn't understand this about the industry.
I know they don't understand this
Yes.
about the industry.
Are you crossing this off from one of your topics you were going to have later?
No.
Nice chart. So it just happened this weekend. I had a large party in the back, and a very nice lady stops me and says, excuse me, but do you get to keep all of your tips? And it's hard in the heat of the moment to really dissect that answer and give a true, or that question and give a true answer.
Here's a flow chart of where they go.
Pretty much. Because technically, no, we don't keep all of our tips. Technically, every restaurant you go to has a tip out, they call it, which is a percentage of your sales that you give to the house to support, or to give to the support staff, I should say. Tip out is usually divided between your hostess, your bussers, and your bar. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, manager.
Different restaurants, different rules.
Okay.
Our host at the 3 meal a day at the hotel did not receive tips.
Okay.
It only went to the food runners who bossed in Food Ran and did all
Okay.
that.
Did the wait staff still tip out, even though it didn't go to the specific?
So they tipped out just to the support staff of the bus or runner.
Okay.
That's the only people that got tipped out.
I
And
think
so,
too, each establishment is different in that some servers hand their money directly to support staff, and other servers give it to the house, and the house divvies it.
Yeah, we didn't deal a lot in cash.
Okay.
So it was
We do all
on a
cash.
paycheck type thing.
All right, but basically the answer to this is no. We always give a percentage to the house. So for example, I sell $1,000 worth of pancakes and bacon. Regardless of my tips, $30, 3% of whatever I've earned goes to the house. So no, I don't get to keep all of it. And maybe, and I'm not trying to be greedy, but from a server standpoint, it's very hard when you see a table tip a busser, knowing that I then have to give that busser more money.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's also very hard as a server if I watch a table tip a busser and give them more than they've handed me at the end of the meal. As a customer, you're totally within your right to give money to whomever you want. But maybe you could be a little bit more discreet as a customer as to who you're tipping. Because it does breed a little bit of jealousy, and it is hard then if I'm bussing and I'm bringing drinks and I'm doing all of these things, plus I'm tipping out, and then I'm watching my table hand, $20 to a busser, and I've just gotten $5.
Yeah, and I like that the restaurant. Here's the thing, I'll come from management side on it. I like that the restaurant you're at has that set percentage, because when I was at the hotel, each restaurant was slightly different, each percentage was different, and where it went was sometimes different depending on what restaurant you were in.
That's confusing.
It's confusing, and also I had very much an issue come holidays because the serving staff was tipping out. And here's the other thing. You were talking about that you're tipping 3% on sales. Mm-hmm. That's the other interesting thing. Every restaurant's different on, sometimes you're tipping out on sales, sometimes you're tipping out on your percentage of tips that you got, and it's different. So that's tough, because if you're tipping out 3% on sales and you had a bad day, you averaged 15% in tips, And now your percentage is really thrown off due to that. You know, if you
Yeah,
have
that would
a
be
higher
rough.
percentage in tips, then you're still taking home. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. But specifically, I had an issue with the 3 meal a day restaurant. On holidays, we would have buffets. And the servers are making the tip off of the buffet. And get this, automatic 18% gratuity on that buffet. It's a holiday, so typically people are giving a little bit more. And then they were giving minimum tip out to the support staff, the busters and runners that we had on. Who do you think was refilling those buffets? The busters and runners that we had on. So I had a talk with all of the servers at some point going into another holiday because I'm seeing exactly what they're making and I see what they're tipping out. But my big issue was when it comes to a holiday and a buffet, a server, and I'm coming from the life of having been a server though, the reality is the server is doing the least amount of work
I agree in a buffet
on a
setting.
buffet scenario.
Yep.
That server is getting you your initial drinks, hopefully refilling them, and they better be clearing plates during, but also they're relying on the support staff to do a lot of that. And I'm like, the majority of the money is coming from people going to a stocked buffet and clean buffet, and the servers had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So they're making the lion's share of the money, tipping out the minimum percentage to the people doing the work. And I campaign to really change that come the holiday season and the buffets. And some servers kind of bit back at me. And I
I'm
called
sure
out,
they didn't wanna
and
share.
they were not happy with it. I called out specific, I didn't say who made specific numbers.
Right.
I never said names, but I said, I know for a fact people in this room made $1,000 last, Thanksgiving and tipped out $150. So let's not talk about, I don't think this is fair, because that's not. So,
Yeah.
There's a flip side of it too. And I get from the customer standpoint that they want to ensure that the support staff is being supported type thing, because they probably don't know about a tip out scenario, that there is money that goes, that is designed to go with. I think restaurants in general, it's tough to find that balance
Oh, for sure.
because, here's an odd comparison, but it's, the server is the quarterback of the team, right? So, like, they're the face, they're the personality, they're the reason people are coming to the game. On almost every NFL team, you can name who the quarterback is, or somebody can name who the quarterback
For
is.
sure.
Maybe not this table, but somebody can name who the quarterback is. But can you name
Yes, he's talking about me.
everybody?
Oh, me too, honey. I can't name none of them.
But you can't name everybody else on that
No,
team. And the thing
that's
is,
fair.
everybody else on that team makes that quarterback look great. But they're the face, they're the personality. And so they sometimes get the lion's share of the money and the fame and so on. But also, they get the problems that come with it.
Well,
you know?
the caveat to that though is support staff typically makes more than a server. So in my
Also true,
experience,
also true.
even though they're getting less in tips, their hourly is usually $3 or $4 more than what I'm clearing on a check.
Also very true.
So that helps balance the
Yes.
whole thing. In a buffet setting, I didn't realize that, and you are very true. That's not fair.
Oh.
If everyone's doing an equal share of work and I'm making 1,000 and you're walking with 10, that's not cool.
Yeah, so and that's a very specific scenario.
Of
I threw out.
course.
But I don't think in general the public knows about tip out, and if they do, it varies so much from restaurant to restaurant that I don't know. I don't know where I fall on, because at your place of work, we've had people over the years and currently that we think are very good at their jobs there, and not so great at their jobs when it
Well,
comes
yeah.
to the support part of it.
Yeah, that's to be said everywhere.
And so sometimes you're like, maybe that extra $1 from our pocket or $2 from our pocket to that person is just not a slight on the server, but also
That's a
just
good way to put it.
just a version of
Encouragement.
you're better than some of the others here, and I just want you to know that.
That could be fair.
I mean, to be fair, Matt and I just used our words for that. Here's a compliment.
Which are better than
Pay
currency.
your rent with a compliment.
Yeah, you're not going to be taxed on our words. So.
You're
Damn it.
welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'll say my experience with this was very different because when I was first introduced to this whole concept of tipping out the house, it was not mandatory, and it was the honor system.
Yeah,
Because
back in the day.
basically the guy that owned the restaurant, he owned multiple restaurants, not a chain, not franchises, but he just owned several restaurants. They all had different names, and so everything was done differently at the slightly differently at the locations. But what I found is that when it was the honor system, and we were one big family, so everyone was pretty fair.
There's still people in your family you like better than others in your
yeah.
family.
So what ended up happening is I liked that honor system. I mean, there were some, I don't want to say that there were defined expectations, but there were some expectations. But one of the expectations was also, because it was the honor system, if you sat on your ass, then you didn't get anything from the servers. But
That's great.
you know, and so if you had, let's say you had 2 or 3 support people, imagine how it would make you feel if you've sat on your ass the whole night, so you're not getting anything, but this other runner over here, let's say from one server got $30 because, you know, they had a really good night, they busted their hump, they cleared those tables, they made sure the food got to the table quickly. So I was at the time, that was my only perspective. So then when I was introduced to tipping out the house in other places where it was a very defined, it's this percentage, you know, I was like, but that doesn't really incentivize anyone to go above and beyond.
That's that argument of free market, though.
Yeah. So that was my experience with it. I liked that honor system. But then like I say, we were also very close. So it was less about making money and more about supporting,
Like taking care of each other.
taking care of each other and
That's
supporting
cool.
the members of your chosen family, if you want to be dramatic about it.
But I'll tell you a potential danger in that I personally went through on being the dangerous side of it, and least shocking news. When I was 16 and a food runner at a seafood restaurant, and it was on the honor system, and people tipped out, bartender tipped out, servers would tip out, and it was usually cash at the end of the night. And then I noticed some servers would tip out more. And those servers, I was throwing away their trash for and helping to roll some extra silverware for.
Oh, I've done that.
And now I'm doing a bit less for the other servers that work. But here's the thing, my job is to support all of them the same. Now, once I start getting incentivized because it's an honor system and I get more here and less there, that free market shapes who I'm helping now. And that's not my job description. My job description is to help everybody. But I know if I help this person, I'm going to get tipped out more because they do that.
That's
and that's a
human
bit of
nature.
a danger in that, though, because, you know, I played right into that.
Well, yeah, but that's like communism and human nature.
Yeah.
On paper, communism is great, but you put it into real play and human nature takes hold and perverts it.
Say it right into the camera for me, just right.
Perverts? What am I
gonna
saying?
say, communism is great. I was just trying
Oh,
to.
no. No McCarthyism, I'm not saying that. On paper, okay? The way our nation is, I'll be fucking killed tomorrow.
You were way into perversion.
Yeah,
And
I
then
like
was
that word better.
Say communism, you were like, nope. No.
Yeah, that's a bad word. My bad. But I agree. Even in my restaurant, how we tip out the 3%, I'll still give some of my cooks extra money. I had a 20 top. My cooks banged it out, dude. I just made an extra $100. I
Yeah.
for sure will go in the kitchen and hand those boys $10 each and say thank you.
Well, piggybacking off of that, would it be helpful to tell the people all the potential parties that you have to tip out to, in case they aren't familiar with the support staff that we have at the front of the house and the back of the house?
Who would we tell? The customer?
You know, anyone watching, just so that they know when we say tipping out the house, what people are we talking about?
Oh, well, I think that's specific to any restaurant, each restaurant you go into. So my restaurant, it's only bussers and bussers. That's it. We don't have a bar back. We don't have we have a hostess, but I think that's
Yeah, I think and at
liberal
most
term.
bars, I'll talk about that, at most bars and club bars and so on, those bartenders are tipping out the barbacks. And that's
Yeah.
that's that hidden bloodline of a barback of what they're
Yup.
doing. And it's funny,
they're so vital.
back when I used to work at George's Alibi, which was a popular bar in town, and it had like 5 bars in the bar type thing. There was a guy that had been there forever. His name was Indrick, and he, I always said, like, you've been here forever. Why wouldn't you be a bartender? And he said, because a bartender makes tips from one place every night. He goes, I get tipped out from 5 different bars every night.
Whoa, he was
goes-
one bar back for the whole
He was
place?
one bar back, and he ran and did ice and everything for all the bars.
He hustled.
And he hustled great. And to him, he's like, I'm getting 5 times. I mean, he's getting a smaller percentage, but it's 5 times the smaller
Right.
percentage. So to him, that mathed out.
That was fair.
But again, and he didn't need to be the. I mean, everybody that was a regular there knew who he was,
Yeah.
and because he's. But so yeah, bars are tipping out barbacks. Also, there's a bit of a, like when I was a lobby bar bartender, we did a bit of a tip system where you like, because daytime sets up everything and does all of that initial setup so nighttime can thrive. Nighttime kick back a couple
That's
bucks
really cool.
because daytime's more dead in typical, and you're seeing more
Typically, for
business.
sure.
So
that's cool.
nighttime kicked back a little bit to daytime because they had less income coming in, but they did more of the setup work for you to succeed at night. So
Yeah.
that is another kind of a tip out that happens in the bar scene specifically.
That's teamwork, though. Man, if every job, no matter the industry, if you could go in and just be part of a fucking team instead of individuals and competition
Yeah.
and cutthroat, God.
And just keep it honest
There's
and keep
that
it fair.
utopian.
I think that's at the end of the
wish.
day. You just want to keep it honest, keep it fair. People, in theory,
Words to live by.
aren't trying to get more than they deserve. In
In
theory.
theory. Much like communism. In theory.
And as long as those are the people in the group, and and it's
Yeah.
like, I don't mind giving money to somebody that did that extra work type
I don't
thing.
either, because you've helped me.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, as a server in a restaurant, I make my money from a hostess and a cook. Because the hostess controls who sits at my
Yep.
tables, and the cook controls how my food goes out. I have always catered to those 2 people in my
yeah.
lifetime.
And people don't know, hostesses make some money too, but it is the slyest money because hostesses, like, depending on where you're at, a hostess is making money from the customers trying to sit down in certain sections. A hostess is making money from the servers trying to get, as a manager, I had to yell at so many servers who were sliding money into those hostesses. And I
Yeah,
was like,
dude.
you need to stop. Like, we need to keep it fair for everybody. And they would be constantly up
Yeah.
there. And I'm like,
That's part of the industry.
it's part of the industry, and it's one
It
of those
is.
like, a shark's gonna shark. But
Yep.
sometimes, as the manager, you got to be like, okay, I need you to stop
Right,
being.
because that's your
I've
job.
been your side, and
Yeah.
I get why you're doing it, but I need you to not do it. Like, I need to do my job of trying to stop it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all just trying to do our jobs and go home. Imagine that.
End of the day, that's all we want.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think if,
Oh boy,
well, I'm just thinking about a world where
in a world
where we don't tip anymore.
where we don't tip anymore.
So then, what happens to the whole incentive program?
We speak with a British accent.
Why would we speak with a British accent?
Because in the UK they don't tip. They get
Yeah,
paid.
well-
They get paid a living wage to do the jobs that we need
How
tips
much
to
of a
survive on.
living wage?
They get paid decent. No, it's a
Really?
decent living wage.
Yeah, tipping is not a worldwide thing.
Tipping
I know it's not European.
It's
No, that I knew.
Very much
An American
thing.
Because I don't know. When I break down my hourly, I make damn good money, dude.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if the restaurant could afford to pay me what I make the same as my tips.
And that's kind of how the American system probably happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's a reality in the UK
Dang.
that you get a livable wage to live on, a decent livable wage to work in a restaurant.
Yeah,
It's not
it's like any other job where you get a salary.
Yeah,
And
it's not seen as a lower job type thing, and it's just seen as this is a job in the town. And so, I mean, there is, you talk about in a world where tipping doesn't exist, like that world is the world.
Where are the oddballs?
Well, in a United States where tipping does not exist,
In the United States.
well, then I wonder. We're going to get into theories and stuff.
Oh boy.
Because then I wonder. Okay, well, if the U.S. were to ever move to a non-tipping system, well, are we going to have a replay of COVID where servers just disappeared? Because now, like someone like you who's making very well, if you extrapolate it into an hourly rate,
Yeah.
and you're like, whoa, I'm making that much an hour.
Yeah.
Well, now the restaurant's coming back and say, okay, we're doing away with tipping, but this is going to be your hourly rate. And
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
like that.
that's, well, now I'm wondering if we were to ever move away from that, would we have an issue with staffing at restaurants because people
It's a
who
legitimate
do well
question.
at what they're doing because they're great at what they do
Yeah.
their tips show that, would they then move on to another industry, and now would the restaurant industry have another crisis on their hands?
Yeah, I think they would. I think they would totally suffer if we went to a base pay and
Full
stopped
story at
tipping.
6. Tune in then.
Dun dun dun.
Full story. Oh, sorry. I think. Okay, just stop recording. That's fine. Melissa didn't want to close up anyway.
No.
God, you needy effing camera.
Well, maybe it's not horny. Did it get off?
It's horny for
it
Jeff.
turned off. It got turned off.
Oh damn.
I would say
Do we need to fluff the camera?
I think it would.
So good at that.
I think it would balance itself eventually, because when I went from being a server in a tip position to being a manager, I knew I was making slightly less. I asked for
Right.
about what my income was the previous year as my salary, and they met that. So I was like, I knew what I was going to make. But the difference was I knew what my paycheck was every week.
That's fair.
And there's a reality too. You can budget your life when you know what your paycheck is every week. And so, yes, making big money is great. Seasonal, am I right? Well, okay, yeah, your
My-
place is a little bit less seasonal.
My
Yeah,
restaurant
yeah,
is
yeah,
way different
yeah.
though. I tell people my restaurant is a microcosm.
Yeah.
Literally. Like
But in general, servers
Yes.
deal with seasonal.
It's
so
totally
yeah, I'm
seasonal
making
in general.
great money 3 months of the year.
Exactly.
And I'm making okay. Well, let's imagine that averages out, and you're going to make the same thing at
Yeah.
the end of the year, but it's going to be all averaged out throughout the year now. But every week I'm going to have this in my paycheck. It's less exciting.
yeah, but there's more security.
But there's security. You can budget your life around it. So I can save for this trip as opposed to looking at my bank account being like, oh shit, I'm up a bunch of money. I should probably take a vacation. Because how much is that a reality in servers? Like, it's all of a sudden you get a flux of great money and now you need to travel somewhere. And it's like, well,
As a younger server, I feel like as I'm approaching retirement, because I am
Right.
45, I've started thinking long term, and I don't live like that, like pay like day to day. But
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, when you went from daily cash, which is what a server is used to, then you had to switch to a paycheck.
Yeah.
Was that not really hard to go from not being like, now I have cash every day, now oh shit, I get paid every other week, now I have to make it stretch and
Yeah, I
learn
changed-
how to live on, like, that's got to be hard.
I did change. You just make the adjustments.
Yeah.
And it was probably a little bit easier because I had moved from like a mom and pop restaurant to a hotel. Mm-hmm. So the hotel was already, a lot of the tips were coming in and like people signing to their room. So you're getting it in a paycheck anyway type thing.
Oh, okay.
But still you get some cash. And then
Okay.
all of a sudden I don't have cash in hand. And then that was a big change where you go out and you're like, I guess I'll put it
Yeah.
on my card.
That's a huge adjustment.
Yeah, so that was different.
I bet.
But we're humans, we adjust.
Well, we do what we have
So.
to. Adapt and overcome.
All right, who wants to wrap up this episode? Any final thoughts? We'll go around the table.
Tip your servers so your servers can tip the house.
All right, and say it with gusto next time. Take two. Go.
Gusto?
There we go. Oh boy.
I don't understand.
Now he's blowing the horny mic, okay?
Oh, boy.
See
Are you
that?
trying to turn the camera back on?
Yes, I'm trying to turn the camera back on, but that camera's not on me, so
I'll blow. Did that work?
Not
No?
yet.
Damn it.
blow harder.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that. Okay, never mind. I don't have anything to wrap this up with other than, like, I don't know.
Just be aware. I think it
Yeah,
helps
just be aware.
people be aware that your tips aren't just for that server.
Thank you.
You're tipping more.
Yep, than just your server.
You're tipping, that whole experience is being tipped out
Yep.
in that tip.
Thank
and
you,
so,
Jeff.
Well, I have a quick follow-up question.
I don't think it's going to be
Does-
quick. Go on.
Offend isn't the word, but does it make you a little uneasy when your customers ask you if you get to keep the entire tip?
No, I don't get uneasy. I try to form an answer though, like that I can give in 30 seconds that kind of conveys the truth.
Yeah, your elevator pitch, but for tipping out.
Exactly. Because I don't want to discourage people from giving me money. And I appreciate when they give the support staff, like I said, not when they give them more than me. That I don't like. And I can think of a few regular customers that think that's cool at my restaurant. So we won't go there, but yeah.
Was that fast enough for you, Jeffrey?
No.
Well,
Let's try that.
deal with it.
All right. Well, guess what? That is another episode of
Serving you.
Serving You.
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 All right. Tune in next time.
Please.